What is up, everybody? Jeffrey Lyles. You are listening to Lyles Movie Files. We're always talking about TV for a show called Movie Files, but so much stuff to talk about in the world of TV, including our latest update on Married at First Sight, because that show has become so buzzy, even people who don't watch the show know what's going on with Chris and Paige. So let's start everything off. Little brother, how you doing today?
Not getting as much trouble as Chris, but I'm doing good.
Nice. As long as you didn't have a disturbing set of news come your way. Gunner, what's up with you, man?
What's good? Everything's good, man. How about you guys?
I have lots to complain about, and I will save it for a moment. Jay King, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing beautifully, man. I cannot complain. Eager to get to our topics of convo. It's been a while. I feel back in the saddle.
Let's do it. So this week, I happened to have the opportunity to watch a movie that I'm not quite sure how to describe it. So I was excited on one hand, but cautious on the other. It was one of those situations where I knew it was either going to be really funny or an abomination. And by the half-hour point of this movie, I was trying to figure out how Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones jury-rig those pins to make them forget things. Because I desperately needed it after I started watching Coming to America. Not Coming to America, Coming to. That is the name of the sequel, which is kind of clever if the movie was any good. So, yeah. This was, as Jovon always likes to call it, Remember Berries. And there was not a joke they left unturned from the first film that they didn't try to go, hey, remember when you laughed at this in the first film? We're going to try it again 33 years later. I kind of felt bad for Eddie and Arsenio because I really got the sense that midway through they realized, yeah, we can't do this. We're not young dudes in this game anymore. We don't have the kind of energy it takes to make this movie work. I was just thinking, what in the world? I'm not at the point where doing something 33 years ago would have me like even a teenager. So I was just thinking, what would be something 30 years from now that I would try to revisit and go, yeah, I don't have this in the tank anymore. And this is how I felt watching this movie, where they tried and they just didn't have it. And they understood, so they started bringing in some other people to try to help them out. But when your first call for the bench players is Leslie Jones and Tracy Morgan, I feel like you're asking for trouble. Because those two can be funny with the right material. But when you give them material and ask them to be funny, that's a problem. Because they're going to rely on their same old stick where Leslie Jones goes, I'm the loudest woman in the world, Joe. And
golly, does she buffoon? Of course she buffoon. Bug out eyes, all that crap that she normally does.
Soft shoe.
I feel like
I already saw it in the trailer, man. You can just say yes.
I feel she was just more ghetto than Coon.
Same difference in the
it's a calling card.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Sorry, Jim.
Tracy Morgan's kind of got that. Yeah, yo, I used to be funny. Remember that? I was funny back in the day, yo.
Oh gosh.
So it's just like, okay, and then they've got this thing where it's a film based off of something from the 80s. So then they're trying to be more progressive with how they approach it in 2021.
Oh, no. Did they force it like a CW show?
So they have these moments where it's just like, I feel as if the first film was not this misogynistic movie. Because, you look at the women in Coming to America, they were very much operating on their own agendas, and they weren't waiting for some dude to come save the day. They weren't passive aggressive. And I mean, even the queen, she was like, "Oh, put a sock in it, Joffrey." I mean, she was talking to the king like, "Yo, dude, I thought you were the king," and challenging him to do things. Lisa was like, "I'm not gonna have Daryl and my father plan my life," and even Patrice was like, "Yo, I'm gonna do my own thing here and make my own power moves, and I'll do what I need to do, even if people don't want to admit it." So for this film, it was like, "Yo, we really got to make sure that we let women know that they matter," and so it's really clumsy when a comedy tries to, I don't know, be more equitable in terms of how they're presenting the comedy. So the women characters this time, it's like, "Yo, we see, we hear you, and we're gonna make sure that y'all are included in the humor." And it just doesn't work. Like they try to throw in something where I feel like it was "Yo, we saw Black Panther. Let's make Akeem and Lisa's three daughters kind of like the Dora Milaje, and they can all fight because Akeem can fight, and let's do that." It was, whew, man. And so, the story is Akeem and Simi go back to Queens because Akeem has a son, and his name is Jermaine. Well, he's played by Jermaine Fowler. And do you guys know him?
I know his face.
Yeah. He is not funny enough for this role.
He doesn't look it. I'm trying to. I mean, that's why I was like, he is like one of those like hosts of Comic View comics. They funny, but they're not like. Can't carry a movie.
Okay,
you shouldn't be carrying a movie.
Yeah, it's like you can do something while you're listening to his comedy, and like, "Oh, it's pretty good, yo."
You talking about having them on Spotify while you're at work?
Right, yeah, because you're not gonna laugh, but so loud. People may look over. "Oh, were you chuckling just then or sneezing?" Yeah, whatever.
Oh my gosh. The same thing. I was like, who's this D-lister dude, Comic View host? Like, oh my God. Jeff, you're just confirming everything. I'm pretty sure I'm recorded on a podcast saying I have no faith in this movie.
I know when we talked about it, I was like, I think it could be good. The dude who directed My Name is Dolomite is the director for this one. And, I was very...
But Jeff, even with Dolomite, I could take it or leave it. I watched it once, and I'll never have the urge to go back and watch it again. It was okay.
That's fact. I enjoyed that movie. I really, really, really liked that movie.
Yeah.
Do I need to see it again? Not really. It was a good Eddie role. I mean, Eddie Murphy played the hell out of that. I love it. He deserves whatever award he can get out of it. And I don't need to watch it again. You know what I mean?
And Gunner, Jeff, Jayce, you know what too that's working against this all, or it factors in. Eddie's such an institution, especially for folks our age and older, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's an institution. And Eddie is one of those people who's reached that rare air as a comedic performer where it doesn't matter what he says or does. We laugh because we know we're supposed to laugh because it's Eddie, because it's him.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie is going to get by on that alone. So you're going to have people that are going to proclaim this is their favorite comedy and so forth. Just because of that.
Yeah.
And that's, I hate that because it doesn't demand more of. And the unfortunate part is if this does really well, we could get, hey, Beverly Hills Cop 4 is on the table. Let's do another 48 hours. Another one.
Another one.
Another
have
one.
DJ Khaled do it. It's another one. So when you're viewing options this weekend, I think it's very safe to say, instead of watching the sequel, just do like me. Put in the original and laugh, as opposed to watching the second one in quiet rocking sadness. Why did they do this?
There's a part of me that really is worried. It's like, you really would be like, when you're watching those comedies and you're like, I haven't laughed at all in 90 minutes. And you really are just like, it's like, there was no point in Coming to America. It's like, you get to the barbershop scene, if you've already laughed, Eddie Murphy's like, yes, F you too. And it's like, that was funny back then. And I'm sure it's like, as soon as he goes back to Queens, he's got to break that one out. Guys, remember that joke?
I felt like they had a checklist of, hey, these were the jokes that people really liked in the first film. How can we
check, yeah. Got it, done.
All the boxes. And that's sad. That's sad. They deserve so much. We deserve so much better. But I'm gonna tell you something. You got Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, who gave us one of the best comedies ever, right?
Ever.
They deserved much more than this. Who wrote for this movie? And you know what troubles me about some of this, and I don't know if this is true because I don't know who wrote this film, but it seems like to me whoever writes this stuff is not sharing the same experiences as the target audience.
What a way to phrase that. So, yeah. Okay. I was looking up while you said that because it's one of those, let me get this Joker out of my
very
mind.
Nice way of saying some white boy wrote this crap.
Very polite way.
Very nice way of white people doing stuff to a comedy that they happen to like and cross over, and then they screwed it up by just throwing buffoonery in it, which is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Sorry, Jeff. Pisses me off.
All right. I feel like the humor was bad. I wouldn't say it was buffoonery. I think when you rely on Leslie Jones and Tracy Morgan to handle 30% of the comedy, you're in bad shape.
Did you just hear what you just said?
Leslie Jones.
I wouldn't call it buffoonery, but Leslie Jones and Tracy Morgan. I'm sorry. I wouldn't call it a bad B movie with a shitty budget, but Tyler Perry. Come on,
man. That's not even the same category. I wouldn't defend Tyler Perry. I've laughed before at Leslie Jones and Tracy Morgan in roles, whereas I just wonder. Yeah. Hey, she's been good in the right thing, and it's not
what was the right thing?
She was fine in the Ghostbusters remake, top 5. She was fine, and she's not terrible.
I don't know, I've seen some skits here and there, but that's it.
Yeah, she's been funny in some Saturday Night Live skits. I can't say the same thing about a Tyler Perry. So to answer Javon's question, the screenwriters for this film are Barry W. Blaustein, David Sheffield, who I'm sure you can piece together, but the last screenwriter is Kenya Barris.
Okay.
So that sounds too white. Like I'm not even gonna look them up. Sound like two white folks and a black person that I happen to know.
Yeah. And the thing is, with Kenya Barris, he dances on the tropes as well. So
he does. He really does.
Yeah, that's how he's made his claim to fame to me.
He's probably the worst offender in this script.
Exactly. That's all you need to say. What was that show he had?
Blackish. All the issues.
Show?
All the issues, and then the one that he did where he started it.
On Netflix.
Which
was equally terrible. I don't care if Rashida Jones is in it. That doesn't equal gold.
No, they had 3 solid episodes. Yeah, that. They had
I think maybe it had 10 episodes, and it had 2 or 3 good, solid episodes of comedy. But too often, it felt like he was winking at us, like, yo, this is funny, right? Yeah, y'all thought this was funny, too, yeah? I had it right? And he doesn't. And it's one of those things where it's like, dude, you're not as funny as you think you are. And
at all.
He's more of a laid back, yo, this is funny, right? And I'm going to keep this joke going because I think it's so funny. And y'all are down with it because y'all agree it's funny, but it's not. And also,
it's his cash cow, sadly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He stays in his lane, and he's like, I am so not moving. I'll give Tyler Perry credit for this. He at least tries different things that he's equally terrible at. But Kenya Barris, like, I did this one thing good, and I'm not changing it for anything else that I write. So there's a little flashback action, and Javon, it's funny because they even throw in clips from the old movie. I'm like, yo, this is the laziest flashback
And
ever.
that's when you know they've lost the battle. Godfather
Right.
3 did that crap.
Man.
You all know where that ended up.
Come on,
This is God. Don't put Godfather 3 in this category, man. At least that movie was competently made, and I didn't like some choices. That movie was fine. Also, this movie is PG-13.
Oh.
What?
Oh. So that adds to the buffoonery because you just got to try to be funny because you can't be raunchy.
You gotta bug your eyes out even more. And you know what I hate about some of these movies, Jeff, Gunner, Jayce, is they think that, look, I work in the blue just like you, Gunner. You know, we curse. We add some explanation, exclamation points to our language here. That doesn't always equate funny though, right? The thing about a PG-13 movie is you have to be sharp. The jokes have to be sharp to me because you can't just rely on saying F this, F that, bitch this, bitch. You know, you have to really rely on good writing, timing of a joke or timing of a sequence of funny. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like going back at some of the PG movies that were funniest to me. Something like, for example, I don't know if you remember any of Mel Brooks' Life Stinks.
Yeah.
Or what was the one with Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep, Defending Your Life? If anybody ever saw that.
That is like, oh man, that's hilarious because it's on a list of something we're supposed to talk about later.
Yeah, you have to work harder.
I'm sorry.
But I love it. But I love it. No,
we're reading each other's mind.
Exactly. Vibing, bro. You're right here.
Mm-hmm. Those movies, Jeff, like you were just going to say what you were getting ready to say because you were about to say what I was going to say.
You have to work harder with the PG-13 film comedy than you do with the rated R. Because you can stumble into just like, that was a funny exchange because they were cursing a lot. And I can relate sometimes when I'm just going off. In this Joker, you have to be funny in PG-13. Like, I mean, it's watching a sitcom basically because TV is, TV 14? So it's even a lower level than that. And your jokes have to be just on point. There's no wiggle room. You can't. It's like being on that tightrope. You can't stumble and hope that your comedy is enough if you're going to go PG-13.
Can't do that. I mean, you would think this movie would have cursed at some point through this movie.
I mean, PG-13 is different now than it was.
No. But even then, like, it was on borderline. Like, look at "Don't Tell Mom Babysitter's Dead," right?
Yeah.
There may have been a few curse words here and there. I think there were actually only like 5. I used to count them when I was a kid because I was that bored. And oh yeah, Ferris Bueller went up to the 60s, by the way. But that was rated R, I believe. The PG-13 was "Don't Tell the Mom the Babysitter's Dead." And think how funny that was. Like when you can't rely on that, I guess it helps. But I don't know. I get your point. It's just, I just think bad writing is bad writing too. You know what I mean? And so if they threw it, even if they was rated R and they threw in some curse words, it would just be buffoonery with curse words, right?
But you know the funny part about that, Gunner, is even with the curse words, right, you can kind of hide behind the fact that this is a steaming turd and it ain't that funny with a few scenes of gratuitous cursing, right? A few scenes of and especially Eddie delivering a few F-bombs himself. That's worth a few yucks right there. But when you're operating outside of that, when you can't go into that territory, you have to now get creative with your writing. You got to be funny. You got to create a scenario that is funny. And if you're not doing that, relying on Leslie Jones, what's her name? Leslie Jones, right?
Yeah, and Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, relying on Leslie Jones to do her thing and Tracy Morgan to be Tracy Morgan, you know what I'm saying? That routine gets old real fast. It gets old real fast.
Dude, he's been doing it since, Hustle Man.
Yeah.
That dude been doing that same routine for 30 years. After a certain point, man.
Hey, listen. Hey, if I could do something for 30 years and people still pay me, I'm not mad at them.
Give me the check.
That doesn't mean I'm going to laugh at them either.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on here because I clearly could keep talking about this, but yeah, don't watch this movie unless you're just curious about how everything could go wrong with a sequel to Coming to America. I am so not sure if you guys have been keeping up with this bachelorette drama that's been playing out now, but it is not going away, and it is amazing the gymnastics in comment sections that I read from clear Karens about this deal. So Rachel Lindsay, the first Black Bachelorette, has come under quote unquote fire because she challenged Chris Harrison for trying to defend a white bachelorette contestant after she got caught back in 2018 taking part in an antebellum party, and her social media Instagram passed of liking a few pictures that had the Confederate flag in it. I will say that she's from West Virginia, so it may just been her cousin, uncle, nephew in the pictures. Didn't, hey, I didn't realize the Confederate flag was in there. It may just be so common that, hey, how was I supposed to know? So Chris Harrison was like, yo, we got to call out the woke police, and racist behavior from 2018 is not as bad as it is now in 2021. And Rachel was like, come on, dude, that's terrible. Anyhow, Harrison was like, yo, maybe he talked to the good folks at ABC, and he decided he wasn't going to take part in the season finale of The Bachelor when the first Black Bachelor has supposedly made his final choice. It is spoiler for anyone who has not watched the show. It's down to his final three. Jayce helped me out with the percentage here, but two of the three are black. And that means there is a what chance that we will have a black couple at the end of this thing?
A 66% chance, but in reality, I'd say
negative.
Oh, dude, I really think that what's happened here is Rachel, not Rachel Lindsay, the one that's in all this controversy, they're really going to try to push her to be the bachelorette. So that's why they've tried to coat and protect her. And we're going to see Matt choose between two black women in the end, only to go like, I made a mistake. I need to go with the white girl. Sorry.
Why would you think Matt would do that?
We
Huh.
Did you watch the Women Tell All this past Monday?
Yeah, I did.
Matt James came through with a makeover because apparently he consulted with his black friends, and they're like, "Yo, we need to get you some rougher edges, brother." So he came out with a James Harden beard, and I mean, it was hilarious because they asked him, Jovon, you're cracking up. He came out with the full James Harden beard, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He was pretty clean cut. I mean, he had like a janky stubble, but this time he came out with the Harden beard and low crop hair, and it's like, yo, what are you doing? This is so unlikely.
The funny thing is, I'm sure some of the girls are like, you know what? Looks like I didn't make a bad choice. Yeah, I'm okay with this.
It was hilarious. I don't know if you heard this, but Chris asked the ladies, like, "Hey, ladies, what do you think of the beard?" And like one of them was like, "Yeah." And it was just like cold, awkward silence. Even more so because there was no studio audience to supplement. They probably should have piped in some fan. Yeah. Maybe they should have borrowed the Thunderdome and had some fans on video watching. But
that was definitely one of those situations. It's like that would have been a beard. I told him when he started asking me if he should do it. I'd say, honey, I don't think that's the way to go. Let's stick with a more traditional look.
Oh, honey, that's not you.
Yeah, that was like, no. Tyler said that? Yeah, don't listen to him. No.
Yeah, right. That's advice from Tyler. That's bad advice from Tyler. So Rachel Lindsay has been getting harassed from people online because of her quote-unquote role in Chris Harrison not taking part in this season finale. And Rachel has deactivated, deleted, I don't know how you kids do it, deleted her Instagram. I mean, because, dude, I'm like, I'm not losing all my fans. Just jokes. So Rachel said on her podcast, right now, she's talking about the Bachelor franchise basically being quiet about all of this and not saying enough. So she said, right now you're letting your fans speak for you. This is an audience you have curated for 15 years until you had the first lead of color, me. You have built this. These people feel like they had their world, and now people of color are trying to mess it up. You did this. So you need to speak out and you need to say something. You need to undo it. And at the moment, they're silent. And yeah, because I don't know if, I tend not to go into comment sections for anything involving race because people online are not necessarily the most savvy about their thoughts. And yeah. So I did stumble onto comments in EW, and these jokers are like, well, what about that other black contestant who says stuff? I'm like, what the heck? That didn't have anything to do with anything. And it's this art of deflection and this foolishness of, well, not all the black contestants have been good, and hey, of course, black people can't be racist. I'm like, you guys suck. So, fellas, help me out here. Make some sense of it. Jayce, you've been watching this. You've been on this journey with me and Matt James. What do you think about all this?
Well, The Bachelor is letting Matt James speak for all things woke and race relations. That's going as well as you expect. And the fact I think Chris Harrison is going on Good Morning America to kind of rehab, talk to Michael Strahan to kind of smooth some things out. He's going to speak for Bachelor Nation and why his actions were wrong, and not the fact that Rachel Lindsay's like, hey, I'm not the one who told him to say this dumb crap. Right. He did it on my block. I'm just calling him out. So don't come at me for just your man acting dumb.
Right.
It's like, and if that's what y'all think, then I don't need to be part of this because you're using me to co-sign for all this BS y'all are doing. And it's like, who's going to disagree with it? It's like, y'all next year are going to have, senior bachelors, like, but it's like, nah, it took you, what, 15 years, 25 seasons to come up with, like, hey, the first black bachelor, like, this, like you said, y'all didn't have this. There was no reason almost for this to happen other than to create this fan base, which, again, great moneymaker. But you knew as every race wall comes down, people get really guarded. They're like, no, stop them. And it's like, you made this beast. Like, there's nothing else you can say. Y'all made this beast. You could have broke it down years ago. Like, Jeff, you've watched the show a lot longer. You said there should have been a number of black bachelors in the show, but they didn't do that. Like, they might. I don't know if any of them were like the last 2 or 3 contestants, but it's like, y'all could have put the camera on the black contestants, like, because I think it was like, even Matt says, like, hey, I was building a lot more relationships with some of the black contestants. The black lady. But when it was edited out, that was not the case. So he's like, I know that because I was spending. It's like, even in the Women Tell All, you could see, like, wait, that scene wasn't there. Like, you look like it was. Oh man, he was vibing with her. That wasn't in the show. And even just like the Ethiopian girls who stayed there like forever. Like, why is she still up? They edited her completely out. It was like, why is she? Like, you had to have this brain. Like, seriously, why? I see him talking to these other girls, and he's kicking them off. But the Ethiopian girl, she's just, I'm here for you, Matt. And that's like, gotcha, girl. And he was like, oh, I don't understand this. So it's just like, y'all created this beast. You can calm it down. You're not gonna beat it because that's just how our country is worked. When you try and break down their wall just a little bit, it's raw, taking our stuff, take our country, raw. And you don't. You just have to move. It's like, okay, we need to do our part, change this, and just, you haven't done that. Figure out how to do. The toothpaste is out of the bottle. just go from here. Like, hey, we are going to do better. Like, we don't need Matt James as our spokesman. We need to have our hosts do it. I mean, like, the fact they got to, like, I guess, an ex-football player who's going to be doing the After the Rose ceremony. I don't know the guy, but it's like, it should almost be a statement from Chris Harrison before the next show or something. Like, hey, I'm taking responsibility for my stuff on this show, not on a supplemental show. Y'all know why I'm not here. It's because of my stupid action. I must have had a little too much tequila or something before I talked to and I need to say that on this show and let y'all from the Bachelor Nation, since I'm the face of Bachelor Nation, that I'm wrong and we need to grow from here.
Excellent point. So, Jovon Gunner, I have been accused of being petty. I will own it. I will own it. So, for me, I am going hard next season, and I'm just going to hire another Black Bachelorette. I'm going to hire another Black Bachelor until it becomes this thing of, I'm going to stop watching this show because all they do is put on these Black people trying to find love, and I'm not here for it, darn it. What would you guys do? I know you don't watch it, but what would make you go, ha, there you
Gunner?
I don't. I mean, I am so ambivalent to this crap. I mean, first of all, you go on ABC. What do you expect was gonna? I got nothing. I got nothing. And everybody deserves what they get. All of them. You should know. You should have known better. Find a better reality show on a better network that is fair to underrepresented groups.
Have you ever watched any of these Black reality shows on BET or OWN?
Why would I watch those?
Exactly. They're trash.
Okay.
Just like this one. This is just trash a different way. I'm good. You know, I don't watch reality shows in general.
OWN has a show where it's like a group of, like, let's say 40s and older trying to find love, but then they got to weed them off. So there's only 3 couples. So you're basically like, oh, well, this person isn't showing me enough attention, so they got to get out of here because they might actually start dating that person. So I'm like, so the idea of the game is not to actually find love. It's to kick everybody else so you can win in the end. I'm like, this is why things like that is like, we try and do something different, but it's trash.
It's trash. There's another show, put a ring on it, where couples have been together for like 9 or 10 years, and they're like, I don't know. Do I really want to put a ring on it? And I'm like, let's date it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What
generation are they trying to reach? Because, anyways. Seriously.
Yeah.
No, I remember, I think the last reality, like, matchmaking show I liked was, like, what was it? Dating Naked. Remember that? Or Naked Dating, whatever it was called.
I
remember that?
I didn't watch it, but yeah.
It was actually pretty cool. You kind of forget that they're naked. Like, because the format of the show was actually pretty good. Just like, oh yeah, that's right. It's very
interesting. Show the girl sued because they showed her butthole on TV or something like that.
No, that was another one that was kind of like that. Yeah, it might have been that one, but I thought it was another one where there was another one like that. I think it could have been this one though. I don't remember. That sounds familiar, but I don't know if it was this show. Either way, I don't think it's on anymore.
All right, Jovon.
You know, I got a way. This is how you fix the Bachelor and the Bachelorette's problem. Put it on VH1. You put it on VH1 where it belongs. Look, as long as this is primetime network TV, there's not going to be any equity for any minority being the Bachelor or the Bachelorette. Period. It's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're not ready for it. We're not ready for it. So this season probably should bring more things to light than we realize that, we're not ready to see. And when I say we, I mean this country and everything that's going on. People are still going to feel the way they feel about seeing a black man with a lot of white women hanging on.
Oh, no, it wasn't even like that. They had the majority were minorities. Yeah. They probably had, what do you say, Jayce, 10 white girls?
No, let's say if there was out of 30 contestants, there were probably 10 to 12. Like that's probably about the right ratio. And
10 to 12. How many of those white women made it to the final? What are we at?
Final three.
Final three and one.
Let's say this.
But
he was beating. He gave him like one-on-one. Let's say this. The time towards the end was much more equitable, actually, towards the minority. It was not like, I mean, they showed like everybody. I mean, because it was like the final four. It was one white woman, and they showed everybody's dates. It was not. I mean, like at the end, it was okay, and it showed more time, but it's not a situation. It's
So
like
there's
let me say this. Their problem is it's too profitable to continue. Much more than sending it on VH1. It's just too. It makes money, and it's like that's why they have their own.
that's a joke that's a joke because we know that's not going to happen. The only way to make it so where it's not as controversial or what have you is to put it on VH1. That way nobody gets offended because it's a circus any damn way, right?
Yeah,
I think when it's on network TV, it's going to be what it is. It's going to be Ray J finding love or Flavor Flav finding love. You know what I mean? But like you said, what's the final four, whatever, for women? It's what, 3 black women, 1 white woman, right? Or something like that, right? Imagine if it were 3 white women and 1 Asian woman.
Well,
or 4 white women. You know what I mean? Well, are we ready for that? What would the fervor be behind that? You know what I mean?
Okay, Jovon, like the last one was the last Bachelorette. Her final 3 was 2 white guys and 1 black guy, and it was like
the same thing with Rachel's season.
It was like kind of. I'm sure
she had a Latino dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the dynamics. Dynamics are different. We're talking about it's a patriarchal society. We're talking about dudes on white women. Nobody likes that still. That's kind of how the country works. Everybody knows that a white dude can go with a black woman anytime.
Exactly.
Everybody's cool with it in some way, shape, or form. Right.
But you know,
of course.
Of course. Why would that be any? Of course that happens.
Right.
Oh, look at that interracial wonderful couple, unless it's the other way around.
And I think I've mentioned this before on this podcast. Whenever we've seen television's version of a diversified interracial couple, it's a white woman and ethnic. It's a white man, and an ethnic woman, black woman, Asian, what have you. We don't have the black man with the white woman, the black man with a Latina and a South Asian woman, Asian woman. We don't have that. And
can't even have a Cheerios commercial.
You can't even have a Cheerios commercial with a black man and a white woman together. Because the brother was on the couch being lazy. You know, it's like, come on, man, what is going on? That's why I say we're not ready for it. Put it on VH1 if you want to see this go without a hitch. Because that way it's a circus and nobody gives a damn. You know what I mean? Right. A black guy, or a brother on a VH1 Finding Love reality show could have a house full of white women and nobody will bat an eyelash. Nobody will care. It's a circus.
So my whole thinking is they just need to keep doubling down on it and literally just totally hire minorities to do this for the next 5 or 6 cycles, and that way they can weed out everybody.
It'll be canceled.
Okay, Jeff, have you've seen the commercial where they say, "Hey, do you know a senior that's looking for love?"
I have seen that. I'm not watching that either.
I'm like, seriously, the seniors bachelor. I'm like, what are y'all putting this on, ABC or like something else? I am like, this could be hilarious. Like, how do you find and seniors? This is gonna be awesome.
Wherever here for it is, I'm the opposite location, Jason.
Right. Those Bama's were so it sounds like those Bama's were 40 when this joint first came out. So now we gotta watch
that's because these seniors for bachelors. Hey, I'm 40. I'm looking for love. That's not a senior.
Right.
All right, real quick, some news. Superman and Lois has debuted on the CW, and the CW is so excited because they never cancel anything anyway. They have already renewed it for season 2. Jayce, so far, most of my concerns have vanished from the show. What do you think about it?
Okay, after watching episode 2, I think the good that I saw from the pilot was like, okay, good. Like we're having, like Lois is gonna have a good story arc. The boys are actually brothers who are gonna get on each other's nerves, but come together in the end. I liked it. I was like, okay. It's like, and again, the budget of this I mean, if I'm almost would be mad if I was Supergirl. I'm like, where was that budget when we were making our show? Because
they left it at CBS.
Yeah, and that's
got left at CBS, boy.
Like, because it's like this was like Jeff said, like this looks kind of like a Zack Snyder kind of CW show, and Supergirl looks, hey, can we dent the car? No, that car's too. All right, we'll just let it ride. She'll just bounce into it.
Can Martian Manhunter just be Martian Manhunter for a full episode?
No.
Never.
Right.
Never.
Like, he's with nobody. He's around friends, so he should be comfortable around. Nah, that's too much. Let's go.
Nope, we gotta have our minority quota. We're not ABC or anything.
I mean, again, you're not wrong on that. I mean, we did kick out our minority to make sure he could go play, Jax on Mortal Kombat, which I think was a smart move.
Good move on him.
What do you mean kick out? He left the show.
Hey, I'm saying he was using that as a bridge to pay for that rent that month. Then he got to the Mortal Kombat movie. Like, send me down.
Yeah, we like what you really think. We like what you did in the Tyler Perry movie. Forget True Blood. Forget everything else you've done.
Really
that Tyler Perry movie with that bad wig and that ashtray line. That's what we needed for Mortal Kombat. That's the Jax that we needed. Super stereotypical asshole Jax. Yeah.
Okay. But again, like this show looks like if I saw it after the premiere and I had the checkbook, I would have been very comfortable. Like, we're losing Supergirl. We can easily shift that budget over, and somehow John Cryer is probably free. Or maybe we'll just kill him off and make a new Lex Luthor. We'll be fine. I mean, hey, we've already recast Morgan Edge, so why not? We got money to go. Let's renew it for season 2 and 3. We'll be fine.
Jayce, something that irritates me is nobody wants to do what soap operas do, where they go, the role of so and so will now be played by. I feel like that was just
all you gotta do.
Tom and Curtis.
Right.
And it's just
out the window.
All American this week, and All American is such a train wreck, but it's a funny soap opera to me now. They changed the casting of the father of one of the girls, and I was like, this dude looks totally different. And then I had to go look online just to make sure that I wasn't wrong, and I was not. And I was just like, y'all should just say something, because this is ridiculous. That dude didn't even have a goatee.
Is it because we grew up like watching like Days of Our Life and Young and the Restless, where they literally said, now playing the role of Victor will be Eric?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, once we get it, we understand it. It's like we moved on. Right. But it's like not seeing it. It's just like, who's that guy? Oh,
or at least some kind of joke to it, like on Fresh Prince did that every now and then. Yeah.
I'm here. It's me. Get over it. Okay. All right. No problem, Don Jr.
Right.
Yeah. So Jovon, I watched The Walking Dead because it's back. Season 10 is back. This is a season will never end because of COVID. So this is its third return. They take their fall break, then they take their we've got an actual pandemic break, and we're back. So season 10 is winding down now, and the episode was good because they focused on Maggie. But gosh, man, I don't know if I have ever watched a show that was based on some form of suspense where they just decided, you know what, we don't need that suspense anymore. Let's tell everybody that 2 of our main characters are going to make it through so they can do a spinoff. So every scene with Daryl and Carol, my suspense level just drops like 100%. And anyone around them instantly puts on a Star Trek red shirt, where it's like, yo, you better watch out, dude.
Yeoman Johnson.
Hey, we just met you today, Bobby. How you doing? I'm so old.
Yeah, good. Hey, you know what, Jeff? You took the words out of my mouth. When what's the girl? I can't think of the young lady that's Daryl's new protege.
Kelly,
it's like whatever her name is. Every scene when she broke off alone, like Where's your girl? She's supposed to be keeping watch.
Right.
All I could think of was that part of Chris Rock's No Sex where he's like, "You're gonna die. You're gonna die." That's all I kept thinking about. It's like we're gonna see because she's not gonna hear it coming because she's deaf. It's like, yeah, she's gonna die. It takes you out of it. That part takes me out because there's no suspense. And even the trailer for this week's episode where they showed Daryl going through some kind of anguish. Like,
they just showed Daryl and Carol. I'm like, wait a minute.
I don't care.
I know they're gonna make it.
Just like the episode, you're like, I don't want to. I mean, this is the end of season 10. I don't need to watch it. They're fine.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they can get bit by 20 walkers. They're going to find some magic cure that can only be used twice. I mean, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Everyone else's life is on the table. And
oh, yeah.
If you care about any of the cast, I mean, the only storyline that I'm interested in right now is Eugene's booty call. Because I want to see where the Walking Dead Stormtroopers come into play, what faction they're in.
Right.
And Negan versus Maggie versus Negan. How, or if they ever clear the air on that, what's to come of that? That's the only thing I care about right now. Everybody else.
I feel like you can't clear the air with the dude that bashes your husband's head in with the bat. I would hope not.
But you know what, though? I'm going to tell you something. If it were like that, Maggie would have popped him on sight. I'd have shot him in his face on sight, right? I wouldn't have cared who he saved out the group. I had to watch while I was carrying my son who's holding my hand. You bash his father's skull in. You are dead. You're not just dead. I'm going to sit there and do it.
Not just dead to me.
Jig. Yeah, you know. I'm eager to see what happens.
He becomes a walker. You're like, nah, he can't actually die right away. I got to see him as a walker running around. Negan back. Ooh.
So I can hit him in the kneecap with that same bat and watch him crawl on his hands. Yeah, that's the level of sickness I would have displayed. I'm just eager to see that because they did a good job at the end of that episode where Negan has to look into the face of the son.
Yeah.
Whose father he killed. Yeah, so I want to see what happens. Those are the only two storylines I care about.
I am feeling a certain way with because I was very much like this until they were like, no, Han's really still alive. When they tried to make our boy in Fast and Furious, like, hey, we're starting to make Jason Statham a good guy. I'm like, he killed Han. I'm not signing off on this. Like, you do whatever you want to do, but he killed my boy Han.
But he killed boy. I will say this, one more thing to that. Jayce, I know you remember that thing we were talking about years ago where if you put Isaiah Thomas in charge of a successfully ran franchise and you just let him run it into the ground just to see how fast he could do it.
Just do your magic. Just do your thing, Z.
Just do your thing, Z. You got a successful casino, I'm going to put all the winning slot machines in the back of the casino floor. Yeah. We're only all of our top shelf liquor, get rid of it. I would right now, given Maggie and what she's done so far, her track record, she's starting to edge Isaiah out. Maggie as a leader is dog shit. She's pretty bad. She's pretty bad.
So what happens is she goes, all right, it looks like you guys have everything under control. I'm going to head out. That's what Maggie's problem is. As long as she's there, it's all good. But the second she's like, I've set up a successful business model. You guys should be able to take care of stuff. I'm going to bounce out of Hilltop for a few months. And then it's a wrap. I'll come back. It's
a wrap. You're right.
Really? Literally
You're right.
Enjoy it. Oh, no.
She's 0 for 3 in that because Hilltop, her current, when she left to go be with whatever the mystery woman name was,
Tracy,
that group, then this group, and then the group that she had, we just watched two of her people burning like old chicken pots on a grill, right?
Just rotate a little bit.
Then we watched some guy who probably just left the Capitol strategically snipe out her other 3 or 4 members or 2 or 3 folks. Like, come on, man, Maggie.
She told me to get down. I don't know what they're doing.
She did.
Hey, somebody got shot.
Why y'all running around? The sister that was running, Like, you just saw what happened.
Right.
You just saw this. They just
I
got
want
shit in
people
front of
to
you.
get killed creatively. I want them to get killed working for it. Like, yo, I saw somebody get shot. Let me get down on the ground. And you get shot because you're on the ground trying to crawl.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's dirty. Because that whole standing up was like, dude, come on. But anyway, I mean, who cares? I didn't remember her name.
Okay. But does that not set you up for the last, I mean, like, the final season of Walking Dead, like, some random hunter dudes? It's like, we're supposed to be, like, going into the last season. I'm like, all the momentum of this season has been lost. It's like, can we just wrap it up? Kind of, I mean, like, because remember, like, the Whisperers, we're like, oh, man, this is like evolution of walkers. Now we're like, some random dudes? This how we rolling out? Like,
listen, random hunters,
random QAnon, bro.
I'm gonna just shoot up people. Yeah, I think that's very realistic and somehow more terrifying than the Whispers.
Hey man, the only thing that was missing from that dude was a Trump 2024 T-shirt, dude. Like, what? Why are you even out here in your fatigues? And where did you get the last rifle in the apocalypse?
A dingy red hat that's just still holding on. It's like the fabric spraying, and he's still rocking it.
There's no lettering on it anymore. It just says make. It just says make.
Make them up. Anyway, so that was that. All right. I came up with a bunch of things for us to do. We talked too much. I'm going to go with one because, I mean, we should do one of them at least. All right. Let's do this. I asked you guys to take one character from a show to make another one better, or remove a character from a show to make it better. And I gave Gunner and you guys some basic ground rules. It didn't have to be a show right now. You can start from 2000 to right now. So you can take one character from a show and move them to another one to make it better, or take a terrible one out that would make the show better all on its own. Jayce, I know you love going first. So what's your choice?
Oh, of course. All right. I like setting the tone for these things. So I get 1 on 1?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So my one character that I'd like to move to a show to make it interesting was I would like to move Felicity from Arrow into Supergirl. And I would love to see all the interactions that would bring. Just
I would be right though.
Who knows? It's a powder keg of awesomeness. It would be awesome. But hey, I know I'm new to this world, but I figured out all the problems. Hey, perfect. I can actually get to the 31st century and annul Monel's marriage and make him marry to you. I'm also double as a lawyer and computer expert. Since I saw the tech reviewers, his cruiser, I figured it out in 5 seconds.
They'd make her the head of the DEO, dog. I swear to God.
No, that's way too. That's too low for her. Come on. It's like,
but the problem is
too low, President.
Yeah, but the problem
Linda
with
Carter.
this would be, who would be more awesome, her, Alex, or Supergirl, who's never wrong?
We don't know. It's awesome.
No.
That's a great choice, Jayce. All right, who are you kicking off of a show? Or is that one in the same?
No, unfortunately, I do have to make a recent adjustment to my needs to go from a show. My show that needs to lose a character is Lightning needs to go from Black Lightning to any other show, just to make it actually about Black Lightning. I mean, I watched like the last 5, and I'm like, wow, Lightning, you're awesome. Anything you can't do? Nope.
Listen, I am so going to be I told you so on this one. I told y'all, the second it started powering his daughters up, we were in for a problem. In the first episode of Black Lightning, like this.
And I think, every time you mention it, I'm like, I really remember that in the podcast. You're like, I don't know if they should have given him powers. And very much like, and I think Gunnar mentioned this last week, is like, yeah, after that 3rd season where it was all day Khalil and Lightning, and if actually want me to go to a spinoff of that?
Yeah, come on now. Oh, fuck, I care about Painkiller. Hello, I keep seeing that thing pop up. I'm like, Painkiller. Who was that even? I'm trying to remember if that was even a character.
He is a character. They need to give
Yeah,
him a
but
better name though, because wow, that
Honestly, they just want Khalil running around without a shirt. That's really all it is.
that's really all it is. Something for the ladies.
some for the honeys.
Something for the honey.
All right, Connor, how about you, man?
This was the assignment I did not complete, so I was hoping you'd go with the other one, but that's okay. I'll save it for next
No,
week.
I had to mess you up. All right, tell you what.
That's all good. No. I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm good.
right.
I just don't think it's cool. Because you said 2000. So the first one I put down before you gave us the timeline was adding Max from Living Single to Friends. Not just any old black person like they tried to do. Ross's girl or whatever. Nah, actual black person who's a lawyer who's in New York. And add them to the Friends crew like she just moved in real quick. I feel like that would add another element of funny and probably attract the audience. No? Okay, fine. Next one. My next one is...
I agree.
Forget y'all.
No, look,
the next one
I
is...
think that still fits. It ran till
No.
2004, so you're good.
They were in
ended 2004, but Living Single didn't get past the 90s, did it?
She didn't move out of New York. In our fictional timeline, she didn't move out of New York, did she? Like, she was a lawyer in New York? Yeah.
No, they already moved out of New York. I'm just saying, him and Kyle went off to another show or another part of New York where all the white people are. And there were no black
in
people.
98.
So you mean...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that joint ended in college. Like, so...
So she still could have moved over to Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
She just moved to the gentrified Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. All right, what's your character you're taking out of the show?
Barney. How I Met Your Mother. That one's easy. Damn. You take him out of that and stop making him the point of the day. What do you say?
You're done. I said you win the assignment right there.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, after season 4, I'm being nice. Like, after a certain point, it's like, yo, all right, dog, it's time to not be about you anymore. It's all about Ted.
hey, honestly, I always say this. I blame Britney Spears for that because if they put Ted with Britney Spears, everyone would assume it was about him. But once they put Barney with it, it's like, it's Barney's show, right? He's funny. He's awesome. They're like,
Exactly. I have one honorable mention.
Go
I
for
would
it.
totally add the plot, like a plot from any good show, the plot. That's a character in this realm of thinking, to The Leftovers.
The plot. That's pretty good.
It's good.
All right, let me see here. So for mine, and this was my inspiration for this question for you guys. I am taking Strand from Fear the Walking Dead and moving him to the main show because they have done this a lot within that universe. They've taken Walking Dead characters and moved them over to Fear the Walking Dead to prop the show up and make it better. Strand is a very interesting character, and I would like to see what he would do in the main universe because he's shifty. He's not 100% good guy, 100% bad guy. He's definitely a shades of gray character, and he's a gay black man on TV that doesn't play into stereotypes of being a gay black man, and he just has a lot of elements to him, and I think that would work pretty well and interesting on Walking Dead. But because he's so interesting, there's no way they would take him off of Fear the Walking Dead. My character to remove absolutely 1,000,000% has to be Felicity. Season 8 was so, whatever that last season was, where they barely had her in it, was so close to being one of the best simply because she was not in it. I would have taken Felicity out of Arrow from season 3. Like, she would have been killed from Ra's al Ghul when she popped off to him. And then maybe they could have brought her back for season 5, like as a ghost or something, or her twin sister from another universe. Either way, that would have been the end of Felicity. So, yeah.
So we would have, like, instead of killing Laurel for no reason, we have an edgy Felicity who actually gets stuff wrong. Interesting.
I didn't say Felicity would get stuff wrong.
Oh, okay. I was jumping.
I could have Felicity and have her do something wrong. All right, Jay King, how about you? As Jay King has faded from the camera. I mean, he's been here all this time, and all of a sudden it went black. That's not a good sign. Okay. I'm going to take Javon's camera and I'm going to remove that from him. Okay. All right. Hopefully we can get him back. But until then, it's that magical time of the week, fellas. Who are your nominees for Dummies of the Week? Jayce, why don't you start us off? Switch things up a bit.
Well, wait, Sean's coming back.
He is returning.
You want to wait?
Sure. Hey, Javon.
Yeah, sorry about that. Everything went goofy for me.
It did. I thought you just didn't want to participate. All right, what's your choice?
No, my two are, if I could take anybody, I got two choices. Torek from Sons of Anarchy. I would have loved to have made him a villain in The Walking Dead. Because he was this total sadist, and even more so than Negan, where Negan was this kind of comic foil sometimes, and like he doesn't talk like real people because nobody has ever said like put on your pissing pants and stupid shit like that. Torek was a true evil, like an evil guy, and who's the actor that played him? I think it's Donald Logue, who was in like one of those early 2000s shows. Yeah, he was big. Donald Logue's in anything. Yeah. And he's a really good actor. I think he portrayed a sadist villain really good in Sons of Anarchy. I would have loved to see him in the Walking Dead universe as somebody. And Lafayette from True Blood. I don't know if anybody watches Poise. My wife got me watching Poise. Great cast, great show. Lafayette as a take no shit from nobody gay guy on that show, gay man on that show as a part of that clique. I think would have really given like as opposed to especially during the time when that show was depicted, instead of being anybody's victim or being and not to say that anybody's a victim or being shamed for being gay, but there are certain moments in that show where the characters do face discrimination and sometimes they have to take it on the cheek. Lafayette wasn't the one for that. Lafayette would have kicked somebody's ass. I would have loved to have seen that on the show, that kind of character on the show. Those are my two.
Okay. All right, Jayce. It's that time for Dummies of the Week. Brother, who is your nominee?
Okay. I don't think I have a good one other than whoever was the Golden Globe producer who had Daniel Kaluuya on mute for his acceptance speech. Especially when you're trying to, hey, we're representing everybody, diversity on winning. Oh shit, isn't it? This isn't an Uber conference. We have to all be on. The people talking need to be off mute. This is bad. This is bad look. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be fired for this, aren't I? Yeah, you are.
Yes, you are.
So, that is my dummy of the week.
Gunner, do you have one?
George Abbott. Texas Governor George Abbott. He's gonna open everything up. So everything deep froze, and he's like, you know what? We haven't taken enough L's. We're gonna. Our numbers aren't even down. Last time I checked, our vaccinations aren't even up. So let's just reopen everything. Everything open. No mask, also, by the way. During a pandemic that's still not done worldwide.
Right.
Texas, though. Texas, however.
Though. That should be a T-shirt. Texas, though.
But Texas, though. Nah, they'll turn it into something great, even though we're saying it in the most insulting way possible. Anyway, right. Dummy of the week, right there.
My choice is, this is a two-layered Dummy of the Week, because it's levels to this game. All right, my first part of this is the Washington football team, which has decided to have co-ed dance team. No more cheerleaders for these guys, which means we're going to see dudes gyrating just as much as the women. And my next one, Jayce had to come through with a text. I got you on this one, bro. So, yeah, we're going to see the dudes sweating and bumping and grinding. That should be awesome. But the next part on the Facebook post that you guys are so kind to share with me, this woman Susan who broke down the truth. She was like, unfortunately, cheerleaders in the NFL are all sexualized. Half the teams, cheerleaders' outfits, and I am adding quotations and punctuation because she did not, belong in a strip club, not on the sidelines of a football team. Hoping their new quote unquote dance team isn't more of the same. They need to focus on the football players and their game. To which I say, Susan, you are 100% correct. Let's get rid of everything that has nothing to do with football. Let's get rid of the national anthem. Let's get rid of the military presence there, flying of the jets. I mean, let's think about this. If you had a big conference, or big work conference, have you ever started it by singing the national anthem? All right, everybody, before we start this conference, could everybody please rise? We're going to have Boyz II Men singing the national anthem. No, you don't do that. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the punt, pass, and kick competition winners. Nobody cares. Let's just stick to football. So, Susan, I'm with you.
Jeff,
get rid of everything.
The military pays for those advertisements.
Listen, that has nothing to do with football. Nothing. Let's stick to football.
Jeff, we only tell athletes to stick to football and their sport. We don't actually tell that to the people making money off it. Like, come on, Jeff, get out of your tail. Seriously.
Susan and I are on the same page. Let's just focus on football. Let's make the games 2 hours. Let's dump all the stuff that doesn't matter.
I really think your sarcasm here is it's just not working for our business model. So we're gonna have to work on you before you start coming up with that stuff that stops us from making money. Okay, just simmer down.
When I place the order at McDonald's, the Blue Angels do not fly overhead.
Don't they? You live in D.C. Don't you just go by Andrews Air Force Base randomly?
Listen, I live in suburban D.C. Thank you so much. All right, Jake. Oh, I'm sorry, Jayce. You did say you had a brain malfunction and you had a better choice. What was that choice?
Oh my gosh! Again, I got messed up. I got thrown all off. But since we started this conversation with Married at First Sight, we're gonna bring it back. So this time, my dummy of the week is actually the one I said, if they didn't straighten up, was gonna be my dummy of the week last week. Yes, age. Because, all right, so husband says, hey, I got a baby mama on the way after meeting you 4 days. Like, actually goes to their shared apartment. But nah, hey, Chris says, hey, sweetie, I gotta take some time, deal with my issues. I'll meet you, at the apartment. Of course, where he goes is where his baby mama lives, but pay no attention to that page. No, you don't need all that information when I whisper in your ear all the stuff that I don't want to hear on camera. But not only do you do that, she decides to take the brother's luggage back to the shared apartment. Like, wait a minute. So he's telling me, hey, I'm going to my baby mama's house. But can you take my luggage back? I know we ain't been married that long, but can you take my luggage back? I'm just going to be real quick. Wink. And he promptly says, we're going to go in separate definitions. But hey, can I whisper something else in your ear real quick and see if you believe this load of horse crap? And the smile on her face is like, I may actually believe this.
She did.
It was like, Paige, I told you last week, you just didn't cut this dude. You were my dummy of the week, and by golly, she made it happen. She is my dummy of the week.
Yeah, she worked hard for that one too. Because wow, it's terrible. Jay King, who's your nominee, sir?
I didn't want to, but I think I have to. T.I. and Tiny for their whole Jason's cracking up for their entry into the whole drugging women weirdo sex cult or whatever they're trying to establish or been doing over the years. I went from fledgling rapper to superstar rapper. It was good to see his come up right early in his career, and then all of a sudden it's like now you want to be or you're buying guns and living like a kingpin. You just be a rapper. So he went from that set of controversies to now this whole thing, you know,
He's
thing with his daughter.
diversified.
I check my daughter's hymen every year. He really is. He really is. He's keeping it interesting. The whole thing, what was it, last year, the year before? I check my daughter's hymen every year. We go to the doctor. I don't care if you do, nobody, but don't, that's something that's kind of weird. Don't tell everybody that. Now this whole thing, I wish he'd go back to just not doing these things. I don't even know what to say. Like, the stories just keep getting weirder and weirder. Like, come on, dude, just don't do this.
So
And
basically,
why
you
tiny?
want
I mean, I understand it. No, it's not so much stick to rapping as stop doing dumb shit. Just stop it. Stop doing stupid things.
And this dumb
Hilarious.
yeah,
Hilarious.
Stuff is
I meant to see.
What'd you say?
This dumb stuff is costing his role in Ant-Man 3. So
Oh, they kicked him out already?
Yeah, you know, his character may not make the appearance.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they cut him out the Ant-Man movie. They said they already cut him because of this whole thing, these controversies.
Again, that's
T.I.
to take out. It's like you are driving people to have relations with him. It's like, oh no, you're not that pivotal. Get him out.
Yeah, wasn't a bad actor. He was getting better. Anyway, I have to admit, it's sad to say, he was the last celebrity I actually just met before the pandemic. Last celebrity I saw and met in person before the damn pandemic. All people.
Was he even trying to recruit you to his club? Yo, man,
nah. But we were in the trap museum when he was unveiling the women in trap. So there's something
was
there.
Was it women in trap or women in trap?
Maybe a little bit of both. I do recall a cage.
Boom.
Although sadly I'm not kidding. Anyway. Yeah.
All right, fellas. Thank you so much. It's that time. Jayce, we're about to watch some more foolishness with Chris. Come on, fellas, join in with us. You can come along. It's a fun ride. Chris and Paige are making this reality TV show too much. So thank y'all for rolling as always. Thank y'all out there for listening. This episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.